Aloha, dumela, lekai, rohona, redengi. It is Breakfast Leftovers. I'm Leigh, and this is our podcast. We do this every single day, live recordings, and we put them up here on YouTube so that you can enjoy day-to-day lives with moi and the rest of, the things that I get up to during the week and my mind. So today being a Tuesday, happy Tuesday! It is the 8th of February 2022. What? So let's get this out of the way so that we don't get into trouble with the people who own this music. It's System of a Down. Today's playlist also includes the Cinematic Orchestra, The Feeling, The Funeral, The Lumineers, The Magic Numbers, The Verve, 3 Days Grace, Velvet Revolver, as well as the Yeah Yeah Yeahs. Always you're going to hear music that you probably love, and if you don't know it, well, I'm very happy to be introducing to you the kind of music that I love as well. So it's Breakfast Leftovers, and coming up today on the Tuesday, our episode number 21. Yes, we're going to be talking about the stuff that goes down on a Tuesday all the time on Breakfast Leftovers, and one of them is obviously, intellectual thinking, as other people like to call them, conspiracy theories. No, it's not conspiracy theories. It is intellectual or independent thinking, as I also like to call it. So we're going to be talking something that I believe we are quite much aware of, and we know that it exists, and there's all these theories around it, and sure, well, you're gonna have to just stick around for that because I don't want to give away too much. And being the month of love, this whole week we're gonna be breaking down the 5 love languages. As I told you now, these are basically expressions of affection to like a significant other, and you basically do this truly to take the time to make sure that you're communicating in the right way to your partner, and it has to be in a way that your partner actually also wants to receive it. Because even love can sometimes get lost in translation when two partners speak two completely different love language, or 5 or 10 different love languages. So yesterday, on episode 20, we talked about words of affirmation, and today we're going to talk about quality time. Now there is 5, and we're going into the second one. So in the coming days, we're going to be talking about the acts of service, gifts. There's also touch. So these are like the different love languages that you can get in communication with one another, your loved ones, you know what I'm saying? So today we're going to get into quality time. Yeah, QT, as other people like to call it. Yeah, I'm sure you may have heard this being used before as a terminology. Like, I'm going to, be with Bae, it's QT, and QT, we're gonna totally QT. It means quality time. That's what it means. I got you into the 21st century. Wow, you're welcome. That's what I do. I love to school you. So now about quality time, and this being a very, very interesting love language, is people whose love language is basically this feel that they actually like really mostly adored when their partner actively wants to spend time with them and is always down to hang out. Now, if you one of these people, raise your hand or say I, or put it in comments, because you're not alone. So am I. I'm a lot of love languages. Like, I've realized that I speak a lot of languages of love, and yesterday I told you that affirmation is one of them on episode 20 of the podcast, and today I'm telling you that it's also QT. So now it just so happens that when we spend time with them, and they always like down to hang out with that, and they particularly love it when we actively listening, we like it when they have other eye contact and they completely in our presence, and they prioritized everything, the hallmarks in the relationship, literally just to be with me. That is awesome. It's my love language, that one. Now, this love language is also about giving your undivided attention to that one special person. I mean, this means you don't have distractions of television or a phone screen or any other outside interface, anything that could interfere with it, and basically have a strong desire to actively spend time with these significant other and having meaningful conversations or sharing recreational activities. You understand? So that is the language of quality time. Now, this could be you. This could be you. And obviously, I'm going to give a couple of examples on how you can have QT with your loved one. Spending time with each other is really something that's important. It's something that we should do. And it's something that grows us. And it's something that gives us confidence. And I'm talking on behalf of the people whose love language also includes QT. And if you didn't get it earlier on, QT means quality time. All right. Now, I'm one of those people who loves a very good independent mind. You find people call those kind of people, theorists, so to speak. You find that person saying that person is a person who is a conspirer of theories, and therefore you have the terminology conspiracy theory. Yay! Give yourself a round of applause. You learned something else today. You learned something new today if you didn't know it before. So what happens is these people, they conspire these ideas in their brain, and it just makes so much sense. It makes so much sense to them that, truly speaking, there is nothing else that they can see as an alternative idea except for this specific one that is blotched inside their brains. Yeah, I know, blotched, right? I do impress myself sometimes when I use big words. And also, still coming up, ladies, there's possibly somebody who is looking out at you and being like, I want that girl, I want to be with her, or guy, there could be somebody, who's looking at you and be like, yo, that gent, man, that gent, I want to be with that gent, gent, gentlemen, come on, I'm talking about you here. So, and then that person, because Valentine's Day, it's the one day in the year where literally you are allowed, to go up to a guy and say, can I take you out on a date? Can you be my Valentine? Things like that. So because of the pressures of society, I think it is best to ask them on that date before Valentine's. I know, because you don't want to be disappointed in Valentine. Honestly speaking, you don't want to be disappointed on Valentine's Day asking a person for a date on Valentine's Day. You don't want to do that, because what if they're busy? Maybe they need to go shopping. Maybe their mother or dad needs them. Maybe they need to work out at a certain time because they already made plans with their friends to go to a event or party or something like that, where of course they didn't know that they'd have a date. So you literally just sprung up upon them, and then they're like, oh my goodness, this girl sprung up upon me, I made these plans and I can't break them and I can't break her heart. And then they says yes, and then after that, that person, after saying yes, they don't show up. So be smart, plan early. I think we live in the 21st century where women are now able to ask men out, and men are now being asked out by women, and they literally just twirl their fingers, and they draw with their feet on the ground because they're so like, oh, you think I'm cute, guys do that nowadays. We've totally transformed to what it was back then, where it was like, hey, I'm Tarzan, you're Jane, my treehouse. Now we've moved way past that, decades ago. So this is my suggestion, on a real honest suggestion. Ask the person out before Valentine's Day. You understand? So that way you're not disappointed on Valentine's Day. You can imagine how sad you're gonna be when you're like, oh, I asked this guy out on Valentine's Day and he said no. And you remember it next year and it's like, oh, I'm not gonna do anything for Wellington's Day because when I asked this girl to come out with me, she was like, I'm busy. And then you think she was blowing you off, but she wasn't even blowing you off. It was literally her being busy. You understand what I'm saying? So be smart, plan this earlier. And here's a suggestion: you can put in a letter with the block thing. Let's take it, elementary. Let's go back to primary. Let's go back to crèche. And then you can write there, will you go out with me on Valentine's Day? Will you be my Valentine? Yes or no? And then you have a block and they can tick yes or they can tick no. And it's up to them. You can do that. You can do that. Don't be afraid. And shake that ass and misbehave, So it's okay. The feeling so got me into it. You saw that. You totally heard that. You saw and heard that. So, here on Breakfast Leftovers, I'm Leigh, and I'm your podcaster. I'm eating lunch with you. I know you eating your lunch with you as well. Apple. I'm chewing, and I'm biting, on butter. Because these past few days, I've just been... Okay, I'm not healthy. I'm just lazy to prepare something because I know that if I start preparing and then when I do the podcast, I'm going to do the podcast, like, the food will already be in my system. Because sometimes I can't wait, I literally just goes out of the pot into my stomach whilst I'm preparing. And then it's like, no lunchy with you. And it's my favorite part, having lunch with you. So that's what you can do. And that's what you do on Breakfast Leftovers. You literally, what you do is you download it, you share it, you like it, and you watch it a couple of times. But the most important thing is you can download it, and then at lunchtime, instead of eating with those creeps at the workplace or eating by yourself, like you usually do, is you can just download and listen to it, and then we are eating together. And then we've got nice tunage playing in the background. Like I'm introducing you to new music, or I'm bringing back some old memories of some music that you liked as well. We have fun. Me and you have total fun together. So that's what's gonna happen. When you get asked out, like, don't. If you want to take somebody out on Valentine's, don't. Please ask them on the day, because you might really be disappointed. And also, there's an issue that we need to remember. There's a thing, boys and girls, and it's called farting. Yes, I said it. I said farting. Sipinya, hopinya. That's Sotho. That's in Sotho. Hopinya. Farting. Now, farting, as you know, is when you release gas from your body, and obviously when you're on a date, you do not want to be releasing that gas on the first day, because you're gonna feel embarrassed, obviously, and you're gonna be afraid of that person, what that person thinks of you, farting on the first date. And I think it's ridiculous. There's just so much pressure on dates, first dates especially, or even just going out in general with people. Like, there's just so much pressure. The average person farts 10 times a day, and a very, 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 very healthy person actually farts to about 30 times a day. And that is a very healthy person. So why is farting like a taboo thing? But don't worry, I'm going to help you out, because I'm Sister B, Sister Breakfast Leftovers. And basically, I'm going to give you like tips on what to do when you need to fart when you're on your date. During this month of love, you might find that some people have been watching you and they want to, take you out and stuff like that. So I'm going to fart. Did you hear it? Well, I did it. And I'm not embarrassed about it, because I'm healthy and I'm eating an apple right now. So don't judge me. It smells like apple. No, it doesn't. Okay, anywho, that was so much information. Right, moving along. I'll be giving you information about that. Now, apparently, these independent thinkers or conspiracy theorists, they believe that Wellington's Day is systematically created so that the florists and the people who make cards and people who makes these savories and these sweet fancy treats should at least have a day where business is booming. You understand? So, oh, I love this song, The Funeral. So, it just so happens, don't worry, the playlist is gonna be written below as well, so that we don't get sued, and also so that I can open your mind on amazing music that's out here in the world that we live in. So, they believe that Wellington's Day is literally created to make us spend a lot of money on people whom we don't even want to keep in our lives forever. So they're thinking it's a scam. Do you think they are right? Do you think Wellington's Day is a scam, trying to scam people of their hard-earned money to get you to buy roses and flowers and cards and mugs and things that are red and white, and the branding and the balloons and all that stuff? Do you think it's a money-making scam? Wow. Or do you think, like other conspiracy theorists, independent thinkers, as I like to call them, they actually say that it is created in order to help those people whom are so busy year long to focus and buy those things and spoil the significant others. So therefore it is created to help them. At least this year I got this from my lover. You understand where it's going? At least there's something that you get from your loved one because of it. You understand? So that's what they are saying. Now, what are you saying? I want to know your independent thinking. Let me know in the comments. And also subscribe. We're on Facebook. The group is Breakfast Leftovers. Rosie Ann on Breakfast Leftovers. I'm on Twitter. I don't know what's going on with Twitter, honestly. I feel like I need to clarify this. I don't know what's going on Twitter. I was on Twitter for a very long time. And then when I went to access my account, Rose Jock, Twitter told me that I'm banned and I've abused something or someone, and I'm not allowed to comment and I'm not allowed to do anything. And I was so upset about that. So upset that. And I fought it, and literally, I was just very depressed about it because, my Twitter is where I was communicating with my peoples, you understand? And by peoples, and I'm totally going to name drop here. Okay, no, I'm not, because I'm not the name dropping kind of person. Yes, I do know a lot of international people. And yes, I do talk with them. And yes, sometimes if we're not talking on Twitter, we call each other. But it was a nice, easy place to do it. You understand what I'm saying? And yes, you do know these people because some of them are famous actors and some of them are like models, and some of them you probably seen like 5 or 10 of their movies. Yes, but I don't name drop because I'm not that kind of person, because they my peoples. They're not like famous peoples with me. They just peoples with me. I'm a peoples. I'm not famous. I'm just a peoples. So anyways, wait, where is it? Oh, wait, where? Oh, this music. Hey, music. Oh, okay, it's there. I forgot that I muted it to tell you something about Twitter. But then I then opened a new Twitter account, and then it was called Rosalie Ann. It is still called Rosalie Ann 1, which is funny because when I tried to do Twitter, they did not give me that name. They didn't want to give me the name Rosalie Ann, and they didn't even want to give me the name Rosalie Ann 1. But now finally they've allowed my Rose Jock. Now it's opening, and now I can post, and now I can follow, now I can do stuff with it. And then when I try to access my Rosalie Ann 1, I forgot the password. And I even forgot what email I used. So it's kind of a predicament. But you can do all of them. I'm gonna find it. Rose Jock or Rosalie Ann 1. I'm gonna find it, because I have a server that provides me all the information that I need at any time I need, and from every place that I need it from. So even if you just write something like send a smoke signal and it's Rosalie and one. Trust, I'm gonna get it. Like a fart signal. A fart signal. Yeah, I'll probably get that one. So, let me know what you think about those theories and whatnot on the socials. If you for the one that believes that, Wellington's Day is out to make money, is scamming everyone, like everyone's a sucker, you a sucker, you get people who just generally think like this all the time, like all of y'all here are suckers. You know what I'm saying? But moving on. Comment, subscribe, like, do all those fantastic things, and share. Everybody needs light and love in their world, and I believe I am destined to bring it to them. So that's awesome, right? Now, if you're also wondering like what it is in a relationship that you can, enhance your relationship, something that can make your relationship better, you know what I'm saying? Better stay tuned, because this week I'm also gonna, giving you like a relationship enhancer kind of tip, and it's very fun, and it's got a lot of benefits, like a lot of benefits. So you better make sure that you listen to the podcasts that are coming, because this advice that I'm gonna give you, like literally, it's crazy. Like, why didn't anyone think about this? Honestly, why didn't anyone think about this? It's brilliant, and it's really gonna help the relationship, and it's really gonna grow the relationship, and it also gonna help you to learn from one another. And the awesome thing about all of this is that it's actually fun to do. So yeah, you're gonna definitely wanna stay tuned onto Breakfast Leftovers. So now, I did promise you that there's that thing called a fat sipinya, and it happens that now it's a month of love. Maybe you're gonna go out on a date. Maybe you're gonna be in a beautiful restaurant, and it just so happens that the guy or the girl has asked you out, and now you're sitting there and you have the Fatims that wants to come out, and these guys are rogue, like they rogue agents. They can like pop out anytime that they feel like it, anyhow they want to, and you don't want that to make your very first date awkward. It'll be memorable, because it's not even about the farting, really. It's really excuse me, I burped. It's really about the relationship, like getting along with each other, talking comfortably with one another. That's what really the relationship is about. It shouldn't, this thing about, farts and whatnot, it shouldn't really, really, really bother you so much. But if it gets to a point where you do, fart, and that person is there, I'm also going to give you some tips on how to get out of that. So this is Rosalie Ann on Breakfast Leftover Guide on showing you how to overcome the fat when jolling. Alright? How to overcome the fat when jolling. It's embarrassing. Obvious, We fat more than 10 times a day. As people who are healthy, those people like me, we can fat to 30 times a day. And to be honest, it's because you're healthy. And yet it's still such an embarrassing thing. But you need to strategize here. And you need to be slim, and you need to wake up. You gotta be smart, okay? Now, when you eaten or before eating, you start to feel the rumbling, the air moving around in your stomach, like that uneasiness. That is a great time right there to say, excuse me, I'm going to go to the ladies, I'll be back. That will prevent one of those brothers or sisters from coming out unexpectedly in front of you and your date. You understand? So when you start to feel that feeling, where there's movement, there's air going from side to side in your stomach, that's a great time for you to get up, excuse yourself, and go to the bathroom. And because, that rumbling of gas, it's a telltale time, something's about to erupt. So do the right thing and get out of there quickly. You understand? Quickly. Another thing you can do is ignore it if you can. Like you're having a conversation, you are talking, you're all relaxed. And it's like, yeah, well, like all of a sudden, because, you just continue talking on. If there's three, it's fine. Just keep going on. Ignore it. It could have been anything. It could have been the cat. It could have been the chair. It could have been the person passing by. It could even be your date, and they didn't feel it coming, and you don't have to look at them dodge you like you did it, and then they thinking, no, sounded like it came from you. You don't have to do that. So what you can do is honestly just keep mum. If it's the non-smelly kind, then it's very, very easy. Just do nothing, act like it never happened. And if you're in a crowded place, you can definitely pretend it didn't happen. But that sound could actually be anything. And it could be anything. It could be a dog. It could be, somebody's shoes. It could be some kicking sound. Because if you act obvious and your date brings it up, then you can quickly turn it around by pointing out, well, I don't smell anything. But you know what? They say whoever smelt it is the one that dealt it. And that's how you can overcome it if it has a stinge. Understand? That's how to do it. And then already you're laughing. And when you're laughing at a first date, that's always a positive side. What you can also do is, if you know that it's there and it wants to come out right now, and you're not sure it's going to be very, very loud or very, very quiet, what you can do is you can blow your nose at the same time that you are farting. You can hide that sound, or you can just be like, oh, yeah, randomly, you know what I'm saying? You can just do that. And then they won't know that it was the sound of fart that was actually happening behind that. Hey, what's that? Or boo, you're blowing your nose, things like that, or you can even adjust your chair, at the same time. If those ones are, if you can't blow your nose, or you can't make a random shout, which would be very strange for your first date, like all of a sudden you go, yo, look at that. It's not gonna work. It's not gonna get you points. That's for sure. It's like gonna get one. You're like, woo. On your first date, no, that's not gonna work. Don't do that. So maybe you can, maybe fake a sneeze. You can fake a cough. You can be like, oh, allergies. You understand what I'm saying? Moving a chair is one of my favorite ones, because, chairs sometimes go gro. So maybe your fart can also make that gro sound, you know what I'm saying? And then you're in the clear, Maybe you can tap your feet, or maybe you can clap your hands and be like, yo, flies everywhere. You can do that, That's also an awesome way to mask that sound. You can hide the smell, by maybe like putting on perfume before you do it, and be like, I'm such a germaphobe, you know what I'm saying? There's something in the air, I don't, and they're like, I don't smell anything. And then you spray it, and then after a while they start smelling something. There's many, many ways to mask the smell. You understand what I'm saying? There's also, a sanitizer. You can use sanitizer, the smell of it, and you can fill the air, and also use that same excuse, germs. I don't like them. It's gonna be better than, your fart smell, especially if you do that. Maybe you can use like some body lotion and offer it to the person, and then it's close to their nose as well, and then it's like, you understand what I'm saying? It's So there's many ways to overcome this. There's plenty. Honestly, I won't lie. There's plenty ways that you can master this. I can go on and on and on and on to the break of dawn. But like, if you've tried these options or you're not happy with these options, what I can definitely do is, if just send me an email or go on the comments there and get more information. I don't mind sending you like my whole list. It's gonna take some time though. I won't lie. It's gonna take some time for it to get to you, but it won't take a year. I promise you for sure. It won't take a year to get to you, but that list will get to you, because remember, I write this list from the smarts of my smart, and when it comes to you, it needs to be written perfectly for you. And I'm a perfectionist. When I send information out there in the world, it needs to be really good, especially if it's in paper. Just now it makes it on some website and it's like, this is what I wrote. Oh my goodness, you can't even spell. Ha ha ha. I don't want to be like a victim like that. You know what I'm saying? I don't want that. So that's one thing that you can do. But there's also another thing, which is honesty. And honesty is the best policy. At some point I sound like I'm far, because I am far. I'm relaxing in the chair. In fact, I'm actually yawning. I'm stretching. Yes, I'm done stretching. So nice to stretch. So, honesty is the best policy. You don't have to honestly be that person who masks and stuff. There's some people who are married and they still don't know what their wife's fart smells like, or how it sounds like. That's not healthy. A relationship needs to be very honest. You need to be honest with one another. I can't not say this more enough. I can't. It needs real pure honesty, and that means farting. It means sneezing. It means taking a dump instead of going home with it still inside you. And that is very unhealthy. When nature calls, you need to answer it. And if you don't answer the call of nature, you could be eaten by wolves. Yes, you can totally quote me on that, because it's my original quote. You can do that, it's no problem. But be honest. Be like, excuse me, I'm gonna go fart. And see their response. Maybe they'll be like, nah, don't go anywhere. You can just fart right here. It's like, what if it smells? Like, so what it smells? I mean, it's fart. It's a whole bunch of food that's stuck in your stomach and it's fermented and it's dyed and it's mixed with other stuff. And then there's the gastric acid and there's this intestine that it still needs to go past. Obviously, it's gonna come out smelly, but don't worry. Like, just go ahead and rip it out. Honesty is the best policy. And just by hearing that and saying that, I mean, I'm getting goosebumps on it. Like, that's some sexy stuff, eh? Somebody telling you rip it out. I think that's gorgeous. Like that is gorgeous. So be honest with your partner, and even in the uncomfortable, it shouldn't just be roses and chocolates and cups with pink hearts on it. Yes, once in a while you can have that, and you can have that every single month even. But in reality, things like fart, they happen all the time, and you can't run away from it. It's like ish, ish happens all the time. You don't call it, you don't invite it. It just happens, and it's nature and it's life. So in this instant, I'm saying the exact same thing. Ish happens all the time. It's nature and it's life. So honestly, just live it honestly. Live it honestly. There was once this guy who dated this girl. I knew them very well. We were very, very close together. The girl in love with this guy, and the guy in love with this girl. The girl had no idea that this guy had many other girls that he was madly in love with. And she only found out when this guy when this guy had something very tragic happen to him, and she had found out that all these people were in his life at the very same time. That is not healthy. It's not good to live a life that's not honest. Especially when you say you love the people that you love and then you're not honest with them. Tell them what you want. Tell them what you need. And when they give you the go ahead and say, go find what you need somewhere else, take it. Instead of sticking around there. Maybe you can stick around there and still have their blessings. That's how it happens in marriages where the man has taken on two wives, or the woman has taken on two husbands. That's what happens, where there's that kind of honesty. And we find that it may be televised, but and by the way, I'm not pro polygamy. I just want people to understand that honesty is honestly the only policy. There's nothing that beats being honest with yourself, with the people around you, and especially when it comes to relationships, because you don't want to get into a relationship and have all these things that you are yourself, like all the things that you like and all the things that you hate, and yet you tolerate it when this person does it. And it gets to a point where the build-up is insane and impossible for you to accept, like you don't want to get to that point. So that's why from the get-go, from the beginning, right from scratch, there's gotta be honesty. Okay, that's what's needed. That's really truly what's needed, honesty. And I am Rose Leanne, honestly, on Breakfast Leftovers, and this happens every single day. Even though like the podcasts come up, it's just so that you can marinate with them, you understand, because these are all live recorded, and there's no editing that gets done to them. There's nowhere where I but it's true, there's nowhere where I add something or move something. It's exactly as it is, me just talking and having a great time with you, enjoying your company, enjoying your comments and reading, and just really loving the stuff that you post on the socials as well. It's www.facebook.com/groups/urban brunch, which is of course Breakfast Leftovers with myself, Rose Leanne. And you can find me on Twitter, as I've mentioned, Rose Jock. And it's going to be fantastic. Like, as long as we keep communicating and we are honest with each other, I'm telling you, life cannot get any better than that. And even if you're going through some hardships because of your honesty, look, it's better to live in sadness knowing that you're honest than to live in a lie. Trust me, honesty is the only policy. Have a wonderful day till we check out each other again. I'm Rose Leanne on Breakfast Leftovers. Ciao.